Hey guys, how are ya? Welcome back to my channel. It's me, Steven. It is exactly 10 o'clock on October 18th, 2020. I should have been in bed an hour ago, easily, because I have to wake up at 4 a.m. I have to fly to Atlanta. But the good news is I'll be in Atlanta by 11 a.m. local time, Vegas time. So I can go to sleep and take a nap if I have to in Atlanta. So I wanted to film a little bit before I went to bed about making an offer on a house. So I made an offer on one of the houses I saw yesterday. Some of you are going to expect me to say house number 4, and I wish I could say you were right. I really do. But that place was just too expensive. In the end, it would have cost me about $250 more a month than house number 2, which I also loved. House number 4 that I just adored had that really close proximity to the airport, which is a huge selling point. And there were no projects. Pretty much everything was finished. I didn't have to worry about anything. House number 2, though, seems to be the Goldilocks. It was the perfect size. It's still pretty darn roomy. It's 1,320 square feet. It felt a little smaller because all that furniture was so gigantic. Yeah, so I put an offer in on house number 2. Because I really loved it. I took the bus to that house. I took the buses, 2 buses I had to take, and there's like a 6 or 7 minute walk from the bus stop. And it took me about 45 minutes, which honestly isn't much longer than my current bus trip to work, maybe 10 or 15 minutes more. So it's not a huge sacrifice. I can do it. I've done worse. But I put an offer in on the house. So I talked to my realtor, and she looked at the comps, the comparable prices for other houses around the neighborhood. And the house that I made an offer on is being, the asking price is $165,000. Now, the low estimate for the neighborhood is about $163,000. And the higher estimates in the neighborhood are about, for similar houses, are like $175,000 or something. So it's you know, right in the middle. The house is, they're asking $165,000. She said its estimate, the estimate that she thinks it would normally go for, is about $172,000. The owners just want to get out of the house. They are trying to buy another house, and they have to get rid of this one first. So I think that's working in my favor. So the house should probably sell for closer to $172,000. They're asking $165,000, but they got another offer before mine. And so my realtor and I were chatting about that I really, really loved the house. And it was easy to get to and from for work. The neighborhood is perfectly silent. All I could hear was birds chirping. It was beautiful. There's a park in the middle of the complex. There's a 2-car garage, which apparently is very rare. And in terms of resale down the road, you can't beat it. 1,320 square feet. No real giant projects right now. I do have to change that carpet upstairs eventually because it's kind of bad, and that shower is pretty awful too, but those could be projects down the road. I got plenty of space to live in without having to worry about those 2 projects. So I put an offer in on the house. Because I knew there was another offer being made before mine, I didn't want to risk losing the house over a little tiny bit of money. Like, I have all this money to throw around, right? But they're asking $165,000. It's the real estate agent told me that she would estimate it would normally sell for $172,000, but the buyers are motivated just to get rid of the house. They are trying to sell this house so they can move into another house, and they just want to get out of the house. But somebody else made an offer. I don't know what they offered. I suspect that they kind of, and I'll tell you why in a minute. I suspect they went kind of low. I think they offered below asking price. So my realtor and I talked, and I decided to ask them to cover closing costs, which are estimated to be about $3,500 that I normally would have paid out of pocket. I asked them to cover that, but then I added that same amount to the top of the price. So instead of $165,000, I'm offering $168,50. That was my offer. If they cover closing costs, and my realtor's trying to get them to pay for a year of home insurance or house insurance, something like that, whatever it's called. So I thought that sounded great. You know, the price difference, $3,500 on the cost of the house spread out over the life of the loan isn't going to be so really debilitating. So I'll still have a mortgage under $1,000, well under $1,000, if this works out. Wouldn't that be exciting? Wouldn't that be absolutely exciting? I kind of want to cry. I'm just too tired to cry. Yeah, so I wanted to share that news with you. Oh, and one other thing. About an hour and a half ago, my realtor called me, and this is after the seller's agent, I guess, looked at the offer. They contacted my lender to find out if my financials were all solid, if everything was going to work. And so I'm feeling that that is a good sign. I don't know anything about this game, but if I were to, you know, why else would they contact my lender if they weren't really serious about my offer, right? So that's my hope, because I've already been planning. I've already been planning how to do a catio in the backyard. So, yeah, I kind of hope it works. But I wanted to start this vlog now and let you know what's happening along the process. Because if they accept this, then I think there's a certain time they have to have inspections done, and the realtor takes care of that. I pay for it, but the realtor actually helps organize that. And there's something else, I guess, that has to happen too. But yeah, so I wanted to share this part of the journey. And so if it works out, we can all look back at what happened and how it happened. And there you go. So I'm going to let this go for tonight. I'm going to jump in bed and hope that Buddy lets me sleep, because I only have, I don't know, 5.5 hours at this point to sleep before I have to wake up. So I'll talk to you guys later. Cross your fingers for me. Hey guys, how are you? All right, so it is the 19th. It is about 4 o'clock here in Atlanta, and I got a little update. So I don't know what I told you the last clip, but I put an offer in on the second house you saw last, the place with the outdoor patio, the 2-car garage, and it held that giant furniture inside, which will all go. I put a bid, I put an offer on that house, and the seller had 24 hours to get back to me to say yes or no. And so that means they would have had to get back to me by 5:30 Pacific Coast time. Well, I was sitting in my jump seat this morning on the way to Atlanta, and I got a text. Now, I can't have my phone out while there are passengers on the plane. I can't have it on my person. So it's in my bed, but my watch has notifications on it, and I had not turned my phone on airplane mode. So I received a notification, and I wonder if I could, let me see if I can find that. Hold on one sec. No, I couldn't find it. But I looked down at my wrist, and I saw the first word said congratulations with a couple exclamation points. My offer was accepted. Now, if I were really good at editing videos, I would have applause, yay, that sound of happening in the background, but my offer was accepted on the house. And so already my realtor has set up an appointment for someone to go in and look at the house and make sure that everything is in good shape, and put together a list of things that might need to be replaced or repaired. And that's going to cost me $300 to get that done, but it has to be done. And so I guess from here on, it's going to move pretty quick. So I am awaiting a phone call from her, and then we're going to sit down and go over some documents. Apparently there's like a document that's like 100 pages or something. I don't know. But she's going to walk me through all those documents. And I'll just sign. And thankfully you can do all that electronically these days. So I'm very grateful for that. The inspection, that's the word. I was trying to think of the word earlier. The inspection's probably going to happen next Tuesday. I'm going to be flying. I'm going to be working. And I don't want to take time off for that, because if I have any time off, I want to take it on a day that's much more important, like closing or something, right? So my realtor is going to go for me with the inspector, and I trust her. I trust her wholeheartedly to see if something is wrong or majorly needs to be fixed. So I put an offer. I'm not sure if I told you this. The asking price was $165,000. The closing cost would be about $3,500, and my realtor has asked that we get. They pay for a year of home warranty. I think it's called home warranty, and so they wanted. So what I offered was $168,500. So I took that closing cost. I'm asking them to cover closing costs and give us that home warranty. So, you know, instead of, I don't know, potentially losing a house for over a couple $1,000s, I asked them to cover the closing costs, but that they, and I would add that amount on to their asking price. And they accepted it. They accepted it. I don't know what the other offer was, but doesn't matter. My offer was accepted. I will tell you, and it's not going to be a surprise to you, that I cried like a baby when we were taking off. Now, I tried to do that real down low because I'm up in front of the plane, and you know you don't want passengers seeing you crying when you're taking off. But I was just so overwhelmed with this news that my offer was accepted. So all sorts of things could go wrong here. And in my life, I have a lot of history with things looking really rosy and then just kind of collapsing. Thinking of my marriage right there. Yeah, so all sorts of things could go wrong. So, you know, the inspector could find some sort of pitfall or whatever. So, but so far, the good news is that they've accepted the offer, and we're going to move forward with the whole process. So I'm looking forward to talking to my realtor later on today, and her walking me through all the paperwork, because apparently there's a lot of paperwork. But I thought I would share that with you. And I'm very excited. I know a bunch of you liked the house number 4, the new one with everything finished inside. There was a structural thing that kind of bothered me a little bit, but for the most part, it was a great house. It just would have cost me too much money. And this place is like the perfect Goldilocks. You know, it's a really good size, 1,320 square feet, without being too big. It's also, you know, not too small. I've seen too small, and it's the price point. The mortgage is like $950, right? That's including property tax and the HOA and everything. It's insane that I could own a home, and a kind of sizable one, with a 2 friggin' car garage for just a very reasonable amount of money. I could not rent a 1-bedroom apartment in Las Vegas for $950. It wouldn't happen. You can't find it that you want to live in, you know. And I'm speaking from experience, because I live in an apartment that's cheaper than that, and it's a hole. But I'm rambling at this point. So I'm going to set up my laptop now and try to read over some emails that Rachel has sent me to prepare myself for this long document read. So if I see or hear anything interesting or new later on, I will, of course, film that and share it with you. But until then, I'll see you later. And are you happy for me? I'm so, please, if you're not happy for me, if you're thinking of making a terrible mistake, please hold on to that information. Hold it close to your chest. Don't share it with me because I don't want to hear it. Okay, I love you, but just don't tell me. Do not tell me I'm making a poor decision. I have enough voices in my head right now telling me that I'm making bad decisions. I'm not. I just, I don't have a long history of things working out well. So please, if you think I'm making a mistake, do not share that with me. I don't want to hear it. Okay? I love you. All right. So I'll talk to you guys later. All right. So it's a couple hours later, and I've just spoken with someone. I forget her title. She's the person I have to get in touch with about wiring my earnest money, which is the money I will give the buyer to show my intention on buying the house. And that earnest money, which is $2,500, goes towards the down payment. So I'm not losing that money. That's going nowhere except for where it needs to go. But I have to wire that money within 2 business days. And so it's Monday here in Atlanta and the banks are closed, but I am going to be in LA tomorrow. And we get in the late, I guess in the morning sometime. I've been hoping to message my friend Randy to let her know I'll be in town. But I really just need to go to the bank and get this taken care of. So got that done, and then I went through like page after page after page after page of really dry documents with my realtor, disclosures of all sorts of things. So we did all of that, signed all that paperwork, and so once the earnest money has been wired, then we have an inspection done, and that is probably going to be on next Tuesday. I'm going to be away, so my realtor is going to go and be present for that. And then we have to have an appraisal done, and yeah, so that's what's happening. Very exciting. I am I'm suspended between absolute joy and then like nausea with a side order of tears. Because I'm giddy. One of my coworkers was today on the plane. He was doodling how he wants to set up his decorations, holiday decorations around his house. And I thought, oh my goodness, this Christmas, I could potentially be decorating my house for Christmas. Right? And it just set me off on this like freshet of tears. But I'm good. I'm not overwhelmed. I'm a little nervous because this is a big deal, But I was telling my realtor on the phone, and the two of us were almost crying because she's moved by this as much as I am. But November 4 years ago, October this month, October 4 years ago, I was living in a minivan in Florida, which is not as sexy as that sounds. Trust me. I was living in a minivan, working at a pottery supply store for $9 an hour, and they only gave me like 28 hours a week. I was eating, like if you go to 7-Eleven, there's a deal with like a Slurpee and, or 2 slices of pizza or something. That was what I would spend. That was what I would eat for dinner or lunch. And I could only choose one of those two, living in my minivan. And here I am today, 4 years later, with a career that I adore, for an airline that I adore. And I'm gonna buy a house. So I was thanking her for all of her work and her help in getting me on this to this point in my journey. So Before I start breaking into tears, I am going to just hit some YouTube. I'm watching a lot of videos about how to build a catio outside for my cats in my house, in my courtyard, my little patio. All right, so there you go. I was initially going to reserve this video, or the clips I've filmed for this video. I was going to reserve it to sort of surprise you guys in terms of like, wow, it's really happening, until after, I think, you know, the inspection or whatever. But I really can't hold a secret and keep a secret. So I'm probably going to post this, if not tonight, maybe tomorrow. I'll post it tomorrow after I actually have the money wired, you know, so it's really done. So, all right, I will see you tomorrow. Hey guys, hello from LA. Last night I received a text and an email from the guy who's going to be doing the inspection of the house. And he is someone who is recommended to me by my realtor, Rachel, and the company that she works with, the Cerrone Group. He's the owner of this inspection company, so apparently he does a crackerjack job. Rachel warned me that, you know, when you see this document, which is like all the things he finds, especially on a building that built in 1972, she said, don't be too blown away by the number of things he finds, because he will look for every nook and cranny for a problem, and he's going to list everything, things that have to be fixed or should be fixed, and things that, you know, are inconsequential. Looking over the paperwork that Rachel went over with me yesterday, there were two known issues by the seller that will definitely show up on this report. And one, I don't remember one of them, but it wasn't very serious. But there was something about the plumbing in the kitchen, for the kitchen sink, that one of the pipes doesn't work well or something, but there's a sump pump that they've been using for 16 years and it seems to be working so far. And Rachel said that it really shouldn't be a problem. And the other one, which sounds more alarming to me, and I was kind of put off by this, is that there is definitely a popcorn ceiling on a majority of the house. In the kitchen, it looks like they had removed part of that popcorn ceiling, but there is a popcorn ceiling. How many times can I say popcorn in like 10 seconds? Popcorn. There is a popcorn ceiling in a majority of the house. And again, and that's original to the house. It was built in 1972. Anybody who's my age or older will probably guess that there is asbestos involved in those popcorn ceilings. She assured me, and I'm going to have to trust her to a degree here, and I'll trust the guy who's doing the research on this house, is that as long as that popcorn ceiling is not disturbed, like if I don't try to scrape it off myself, and it stays there as it is, it has lots of layers of different paint on top of it, that the asbestos should not be a problem. I'm trusting her to a degree here, and I'll trust the guy who's doing the inspection as well. So I'll listen to his report. But as long as I don't try to scrape that popcorn ceiling off myself, the asbestos shouldn't be a problem. The seller has lived there for 16, 17 years, and nothing has been a problem to date. So I know a number of you are already typing tap, 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 stay away from that house. So I'm going to wait till I see the inspection report and go from there and do a little research myself in terms of if that's really a deal breaker or not, because it could be, who knows. I'd be heartbroken because I am already falling in love with this house more and more every day. I keep watching my own video over and over again to look at the house and see what I would like to do for things like a catio and things like that. But so that is where we are so far. in a few minutes. I'm going to finish. I have like 4 of these cookies. These are little, I don't know, strawberry, raspberry, little like fake Linzer cookies from IKEA that I'm just obsessed with. Oh, I hate that word, obsessed. I'm obsessed with these cookies. They're delicious. Having some cookies and some juice. I've got some food in my Hot Logic Mini, so I will have that ready when I come back. But there's a Bank of America, that's where I bank with, right across the street. How exciting is that? So I can just walk over there, and I have to wire some funds, which is my earnest money, I think it's called. I have to wire those funds today. Otherwise, this whole contract goes out the window. So, so I will be wiring those funds in a few minutes. How exciting is this, guys? I mean, I really can't even handle it. I was talking to, who was I talking to? I was talking to Rachel, my realtor. We were talking over the phone last night. She's like, aren't you excited? I'm like, yeah, I've cried. I've been in utter disbelief that this is actually happening. And I'm just so stunned that this is happening, because I've said this before, and I don't want to sound pathetic, but I've never really been a big winner. Like, things just don't go well for me in big things, you know. Outside of me getting this job and staying sober for 18 years, I've never been a big giant winner, you know. And the idea that I'm going to own a home is just mind-blowing. And if I think 4 years ago, and I think I may have said this already in this video possibly, but you know, it was 4 years ago this month that I was living in a minivan in Florida. Again, not a sexy thing. And here I am 4 years later in a position where I could actually buy a house. And now that's because the interest rate is so low right now. And I was able to save up during this pandemic. And people have been super generous on YouTube and have helped me out in many little ways, and allowing me to be in a position where I can do this. And it's just mind-boggling. But in a minute or two, I'm going to put my uniform back on, because the clothes I have in my bag are just, yeah, the shirt's torn. I forgot it tore on my last trip, but I don't want to walk into the bank in a torn shirt, you know. So I'm going to put my uniform back on, look real professional, and wire money. I can't believe this is my life right now. All right, so I will talk to you guys maybe after I do it, and then I'll probably post this video so that you guys know what's actually happening, so I don't have to keep any of it a secret, right? All right, so I'll talk to you guys later. Oh, guys, hi. So, look what I have in my hand. It's a piece of paper. It is a receipt for the wire transfer to my escrow account. I am feeling a little giddy right now. I'm kind of over, like, I don't know, my whole body feels sort of electric, and I'm terribly excited. I'm terribly excited. Until I did this, it all felt like kind of like a pipe dream. Like, oh yeah, I mean, yeah, they accepted my offer. I'm just talking out of my bum that I'm gonna buy a house, and I just wired $2,500 to an escrow account. I'm not quite sure when the rest of the down payment is going to be put in escrow, if that happens on closing day or what, but Rachel will tell me, or my lender Amber will tell me. But this is terribly, terribly exciting. I am over the moon. I kind of want to cry, but I'm not gonna. I've just spent the last day sort of just looking at all the photographs I've taken of the house. I've been watching that video clip of the house over and over and over again, trying to think about where I'm going to put stuff, what I'm going to do. My plans to build a catio in the back, in the patio area. I'm going to buy a house. Oh my God, I might cry. So now I'm just going to wait for the inspection, and then talk with Rachel and Amber, my realtor and my lender. See what the next step is after that. But here we go. I'm buying a house. All right. So thanks for joining me. I'll continue another video with the steps along the process of me buying this house, but I wanted to introduce the news that I'm actually buying a house. I'm not just looking at one. I'm not putting an offer on one. I'm actually going to buy a house. And so I thought I'd share some of these first steps I've taken with you. Also be able to look back at this later on and laugh at myself a little for my nervousness and my anxiety. But there you go. I will see you later. Fly safe. Bye. This is how I'm celebrating wiring money to my escrow for my earnest money. Look at how good this looks. Cinnamon bun pancakes. Yum! So excited. Oh, that's what's left of my celebration meal. I wonder, can you die from overeating? Oh, my stomach is gonna rupture.